So thankfully, out of the 8 playoff capsules that I've done so far, I've only had to redo one of these ones, and this is only for the YouTube side. Everything on the audio recording and color cast went off fine here. So this is the Calgary Flames, 50, 21, and 11, 111 points and a plus 85. And the Dallas Stars, 46, 30, and 6, 98 points. And the only two teams that I put a plus minus in the goal differential part of it, because the Calgary Flames are plus 85 and the Dallas Stars are minus 8. It's going to be head coach Darryl Sutter versus Rick Bowness. It's a well-rounded beast versus the only playoff team under 20 road wins. And mid to heavy expectations versus a 2020 Cinderella. So, per usual, let's get our stats on centerpieces. Johnny Gaudreau, 82 games played, 40 goals, 75 assists, 115 points, and a plus 64. Matthew Tkachuk, 82 games played, 42 goals, 62 assists, 104 points, and a plus 57. Tkachuk was a beast all year, too. Elias Lindholm, 82 games played, 42 goals, 40 assists, 82 points, and a plus 61. Andrew Madrupani, the bread man, 82 games played, 35 goals, 20 assists, 55 points, and a plus 20. So, all of those stars and all of those stats in comparison, like I told you, the plus 85 goal differential for the Flames to the minus 8 for the Stars, and all of the lengthy, crazy plus 100 numbers, all in favor of the Flames. Now go on the other side of it. This is largely the first line, as we've talked about a lot of it. Joe Pavelski, 82 games played. Joe Pa was excellent. 27 goals, 54 assists, 81 points. Jason Robertson, 74 games played, 41 goals, 38 assists, 79 points, and a plus 22. And Roope Hintz, 80 games played, 37 goals, 35 assists, 72 points, and a plus 28. So why was that important to mention for Dallas? Well, only a handful of guys, especially Roope Hintz and Jason Robertson, even have pluses on the entire team. Again, because you have a negative goal differential. But let's take this one step further. Rasmus Anderson, 82 games played, 50 points, a plus 30. Noah Hanifin, 81 games played, 10 goals, 38 assists, 48 points. Oliver Kylington, 73 games played, 31 points, a plus 34. Christopher Tanev, 82 games played, plus 35 and a plus 35. And the Miro Heiskanen on defense for the Stars, 70 games played, 36 points, a plus 3. Ryan Suter played all 82 games, which was important. 32 points, plus 1. Lindell, 76 games played, 25 points, plus 4. And John Klingberg, here comes the kicker, 74 games played, 47 points, and a minus 28. Why was it again important to mention the small numbers that I haven't mentioned before as far as plus minus versus some of these other teams? Again, because largely most of the Dallas Stars are negative players as far as goal differential and things like that. So again, depth. Tyler Toffoli here for the Flames, 74 games played in totality with the Kings and the Flames, 20 goals, 29 assists, 49 points. Mikael Backlund, Blake Coleman, Dylan Dubé, all above 30 points. Tyler Seguin, 30 years of age now, 81 games played, 24 goals, 25 assists, 49 points, minus 21. Jamie Benn, 82 games played. The captain played all 82. 18 goals, 20 assists, 46 points, minus 13. Denis Gurianov, 73 games played, 11 goals, 20 assists, 31 points, plus 2. And Alexander Radulov, 71 games played, 4 goals, 18 assists, 22 points. So the depth is also a very interesting aspect of it that you want to talk about. Because again, look, you can talk about Tyler Seguin and Jimmy Benn being minus players, but remember, you think about a few years ago, especially in the 2020 side of things, you had Benn, Seguin, Radulov, Gurianov, all in the top first or second line. Now, Rick Bowness, some of these other productions and things aren't working out the way you want, so you guys are going to move down because we need to have some more team depth and things like that. So very, very interesting. But I have a few revelations in this series and predictions I think that might shock people. But let's go one more step further here between the pipes. Goalies, Jacob Markstrom, 63 games played, a 37-15-9 record, 222 and a 922 save percentage. Dan Vladar, not too bad as the backup either. 23 games played, 13-6-2 with a 275 and a 906 save percentage. Jake Ottinger, remember, he's just 23 years of age. 48 games played, a 30-15-1 record with a 914. And Scott Wedgwood, picked up from Arizona, who smartly got them from a pick, and Dallas really needed it because, again, you had problems with Ben Holtby and Ben Bishop and Braden Holtby. So Scott Wedgwood, 3-1-3, a 304 and a 913 save percentage. And then Braden Holtby, who knows if he's returning? He had 24 games played, 10-10-1, a 278 and a 913. They could use that if he's there. So as we've done, who wins the series and give reasons for both. And this is going to shock you for some of this stuff, but I want to be honest here with you. Like, I've been through all these capsules and give you my thoughts. So for the Calgary Flames, it's pretty damn simple in the regard of Nothing really went wrong for this team all year. Darryl Sutter is a terrific coach. The offense has been an offensive career years for lots of these players. Like I said, Gaudreau, as good as he's been, 115 points at plus 64, haven't gotten to that point. And Matthew Tkachuk, 42, 62, and 104, plus 57. Lindholm, plus 61, 82 points. I mean, there isn't anything that hasn't gone wrong for the Calgary Flames. Andrew Mangiapane, same way, like I said, 55 points and a plus 20. He'd be a third-liner guy. He'd be a first-liner guy, so on the third line. And then Rasmus Anderson, plus 30. Hanifin, strong as well. Oliver Kylington, plus 34. Tanev, plus 35. Everybody on defense has been excellent. Everybody on offense has been excellent. Jacob Markstrom has been utterly perfect. Utterly perfect. A 222 and a 922. 37, 15, and 9. So what do I mean by all of that? Well, you're finally getting into the playoffs now. And again, I understand all the other pressure could be on the other teams in Toronto. And I'm not just talking about Edmonton, and I'm not just talking about the main pressure in the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Calgary Flames should have a lot of pressure on them because this team, look, I understand the mid-'80s teams with Laney McDonald and the Calgary Flames winning the Cup and things like that. It's been a while for the Calgary Flames. And I understand when Mark Giordano and TJ Brody were there was some success. When Johnny Gaudreau was there early, there was some success. But this sustained playoff success, this absolutely wonderful offense, defense, goaltending, nothing has ever really hit like this for the Calgary Flames like it's hit this season. Nothing has gone wrong. You look at a plus 85 goal differential to the Dallas Stars and a minus 8. Calgary checks all the boxes. They win in every single area. So why would I not pick them to win at least in 5 or 6 games? I mean, it should just be completely over at this point. Because it's pressure, it's the playoffs, it's a position where Calgary has been the odds on. If it wasn't just for how good the Colorado Avalanche were, Calgary Flames could have easily been the best team in the entire Western Conference. No doubt about it. This cannot continue to go smoothly all throughout the entire year for the Flames. Looking at the Dallas Stars, look, I understand there are some problems there, some proponents that can give you some cause of worry and concern. Between Joe Pavelski and Jason Robertson and Roope Hintz, nothing short of a revelation on that first line. I will completely understand that and give you that. 81 points, 79 points, 72 points. The most of the production from Dallas comes from the first line to the tune of about 45% of their production comes from that first line, and if not more at times. Very, very first line dependent. So why, in turn, would I think that Dallas has a chance in this series? Because I think about some of these other names. Again, I've talked about it between Tyler Seguin, Jamie Benn, Denis Gurianov, Alexander Radulov, guys that have been on the first line, second line. Guys that have done all the heavy lifting before. Look, Rick Bowness has moved them because they need more depth across all lines. And he wants them to be able to play defense and play their own way. And if they're not doing that, they're going to get moved down. Rick Bowness he does not play games as far as the defensive part of it. And look, I understand Dallas had a minus goal differential. And there's certain things that give you pause. But there's a lot of depth in there. As far as a guy like Jamie Benn, look, he's not the same guy that he used to be. But he did play all 82 games, and yes, his numbers are down. Maybe he can't skate as fast and all that, but the physicality and the way that this guy plays is going to play up in the playoffs. This is the type of game that Jamie Benn, in this time of season, trying to get 16 wins, I mean, they want to get back to that point. Did anybody pick them to get to this point? No. Did anybody pick them to get to this point where, from 2020 and Antoine Hudobin and the Cinderella thing with the Tampa Bay Lightning? No, they didn't. But this is a team where they still have a lot of those good pieces in between Seguin, Benn, Gurianov, Radulov, Miro, Heiskanen got one of the best set of hands in the NHL as far as one of the best offensive defensivemen that we have in the league right now. Again, the numbers are not high because they can't be when you're playing that style that Dallas has. But all these other players, they all can step up. They've been here before. They've done all this. Rick Bowness wants to play that defensive style. And it works really well. And it comes down to this for me, too. Again, we talk about goaltending in all of these matchups in these capsules, and for good reason, because it matters, and it matters wholeheartedly. In the sense of Jake Ottinger, Dallas has found their goaltender. I said this a couple of years ago, and I was like, who is this guy? I said this a couple of years ago. This guy is going to be pretty good, and he's going to at least, I don't think he's going to be a bona fide star like he's been right now, but at 23 years of age, 48 games played, a 30-15-1, and 914 save percentage. Jake Ottinger has been terrific. He's been terrific. Definitely in a lot of the games that I've covered here for Dallas on Colorcast and all the other side of things that I put on there, Jake Ottinger is one of those guys that cannot absolutely just steal you a couple games. He can steal you a series. I truly believe in his ability to tend the pipes. And between everything else that has gone right for Calgary all year long, I make no bones about it. Again, they're the better team. But for everything that's gone right, something has to give eventually here for Calgary. You can't just power through all the way and get to the Stanley Cup final. Can they do that in actuality? Yes, they can. They're definitely good enough to be able to do that. I'm not going to mince words here with the Calgary Flames. But I can't continue to see that Calgary is going to continue to live right all year when pretty much nothing has gone wrong. Dallas is a really, really good team. Is it better that Dallas probably made the wild card aspect of it in comparison to Vegas for Calgary? I would say so. Even though Vegas gave them a 6-1 slap in the regular season, Dallas is one of those teams, like I said, with everybody else in the back end between Sagan, Radulov, Gurionov, and Ben, where it plays this type of year, and you never know what's going to happen. I will say this to you. There's a couple things I want to mention in this series that I do believe is going to be true unlike any other capsule. And between Jacob Markstrom and Jake Ottinger, who are your starters, I feel your starter is going to play every single game in this series, and nobody's going to get pulled. You're not pulling Markstrom for Vladar. You're not pulling Ottinger for Wedgwood, although that's probably more likely between the two. I don't think you're doing that because without the success of Jacob Markstrom and Jake Ottinger, neither one of these teams is going to win a series unless these guys play well. It's just that simple. They're both really, really good goaltenders. They've been good for a long time. They've been consistent all year. And I will say this, in favor of Dallas in comparison to Calgary for all of the positive, plus, minus, and just wonderful. Because again, the two-way forwards between Johnny Gaudreau and the Breadman, Andrew Mangiapane, and Elias Lindholm, and all this, it's worked out very well. All these guys are two-way forwards, responsible, and Darryl Sutter has them playing the right hockey. But for the names that you have on the back end, for the defensive side, I'm not throwing anything, no shade against Rasmus Anderson or Noah Hanifin. They're great players. But between Kylington and Tanev, the 3, 4, 5, 6 that Calgary would have, I think the defense advantage probably should belong to Dallas in the regard of having Miro, Heiskanen, and John Klingberg in the sense of it too. Lindell. I think those are better defensemen in the sense of it. Those are some names in there that can absolutely do some damage. Although, like we said about the goaltending aspect of it, I will give you another thing that will go as a negative for Dallas here. John Klingberg is a minus, let's look at it again, 28. He's a minus 28 for a reason. He's definitely one of those guys that can get on the offensive side of things and try to make something happen. But he's also very careless behind his own net. He's prone to be able to make some mistakes. There will be a game in this series where John Klingberg coughs up the puck, Dallas gives up a goal, and they lose the game in the series because of John Klingberg. I'm not throwing all that stuff in the shade as far as everything else that he can do offensively because he's terrific. But he's suspect on defense a little bit, and Dallas will pay for that, I think, in a game in this series where he's going to make a critical mistake, and Calgary is going to be able to capitalize on that. So despite, I think, all the starters pretty much playing every game in this series, and some back-end issues that could be on Calgary's side for unknown names, maybe a Klingberg mistake, those are all your situations in there. Who do I really feel is going to win this series, and I got to tell you why. So, for all the things and all the signs that point to the Calgary Flames, I say that they win this game and win this series. I say that they win it in 7 for all the reasons that we mentioned. I think Dallas will give them a puncher's chance, and they will have a chance to make this something truly special. I don't think this is going to be a cakewalk for the Calgary Flames. So many things have gone right for them all year. It's time for them to turn a little bit, and Dallas could be one of those teams that can absolutely throw a wrench in the plans for Calgary. Do I expect Calgary to get out of this series? Yes, I do. But I do think there's a lot of reasons I'm pointing. If you're going to talk about upsets and something else that could happen, this is one of those big times in the West. I think Dallas could also take this. Even though I expect Calgary to take this in a long series, I'll say Calgary wins in 7. I absolutely think Dallas can go away just as easily on the other side of things, turn that around, and beat Calgary in 7. This should be an intriguing series to watch. And even though I do give the slight edge of the Flames just because of all the things that have gone right, they're one of the best all-around teams in the league. I just think Dallas is going to play up and be ready for this series and have something truly special under their sleeve. But again, I could be completely wrong. The first game of this series is going to begin Tuesday, May 3rd. 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2.